The Standard Edition of the Complete Psychological Works of Sigmund Freud, Volume 1. Preface to the translation of Charcot's Lectures on the Diseases of the Nervous System, 1886. Editor's Note. The preface has not been reprinted in German. The present translation of it, the first into English, is by James Strachey. Freud's translation of two of the lectures, 23 and 24, was published in advance in the Wien Med Wünsche under the title On a Case of Hysterical Coxalgia in a Man Resulting from an Accident, Freud 1886e. The publication of the book itself cannot have been earlier than July 1886, the date of Freud's preface, but it took place in any case before the French original, Paris 1887, as Freud mentions in his preface. A more detailed account of how Charcot gave Freud the commission to make the German translation of this book was given in his autobiographical study, 1925D, Standard Edition, Volume 20, page 12, and also in a contemporary letter of Freud's to his future wife, December 12, 1885, printed in Freud 1960A, Letter 88. Freud's half-dozen footnotes, as he himself indicates in the preface, merely recorded later developments in one or two of the case histories, reported in the text, and in one instance, a recent change of opinion by Charcot on a minor point of diagnosis. 3 of the lectures, 11, 12, and 13, deal with aphasia. A short comment by Freud shows that he was already specially interested in the subject, on which he was to write his monograph 5 years later. He gave a short account there of Charcot's views, 1891b, pages 100 to 102, and referred back to the present work. Jones, 1953, page 230, tells us that Charcot rewarded Freud for the translation by the gift of a complete set of his works bound in leather, with the inscription, Et Monsieur le Docteur Freud, excellent souvenir de la salpêtrière, Charcot. Preface to the translation of Charcot's Lectures on the Diseases of the Nervous System. An undertaking such as the present one, which aims at introducing the teachings of a master of clinical medicine to wider medical circles, surely calls for no justification. I propose, therefore, to say only a few words on the origin of this translation and on the contents of the lectures contained in it. When, in the winter of 1885, I arrived at the Salpêtrière for a stay of almost half a year, I found that Professor Charcot, then working in his 60s with all the freshness of youth, had turned away from the study of the nervous diseases that are based on organic changes, and was devoting himself exclusively to research into the neuroses, and particularly hysteria. This change was related to the alterations described in the opening lecture in this volume, which had taken place in the conditions of Charcot's work and teachings in 1882. Footnote 1. As explained in the Paris report, page 7 above, a chair of neuropathology had been established for Charcot at the Salpêtrière, and facilities there for the study of the neuroses had been greatly extended. After I had overcome my initial bewilderment at the findings of Charcot's new investigations, and after I had learnt to appreciate their importance, I asked Professor Charcot's permission to make a German translation of the lectures in which these new theories are contained. And here I have to thank him not only for the readiness with which he gave me his permission, but also for his further assistance, which made it possible for the German edition actually to be published several months before the French one. By the author's instructions, I have added a small number of notes, mostly addenda to the histories of the patients dealt with in the text. The core of this book lies in the masterly and fundamental lectures on hysteria, which, along with their author, we may expect to open a new epoch in the estimation of this little-known and instead much maligned neurosis. For this reason, with Professor Charcot's assent, I have altered the book's title, which is in French Leçons sur les maladies du système nerveux, tome troisième, and brought her hysteria into prominence among the subjects with which it deals. Anyone who is encouraged by these lectures to enter further into the French school's researches on hysteria may be referred to P. Richard's Études cliniques sur la grande hystérie, of which a second edition appeared in 1885, and which is in more than one respect a noteworthy volume. Vienna, July 18, 1886.